I've always been openly against dating apps. Most people assume it's just personal preference. But the truth is, my opinion was shaped by experience. One specific night. That changed how I look at online connections forever. Short. Pause. I've only met 3 people in real life through dating apps. The first 2 encounters were forgettable. Awkward, but harmless. The kind you move past easily. At the time, I thought those were failures. Looking back now, they were. Warnings I didn't understand yet. Compared to what happened during my 3rd meet, those earlier dates felt safe, ordinary, almost comforting. Pause. The 3rd person I matched with was a brunette girl who called herself Annette. Her profile was simple only for photos. 3 were taken in what looked like a backyard. 1 was by a pond. She was always alone in her pictures. That didn't strike me as strange at the time. Why would it? She was reasonably attractive, at least by my standards. Our conversation felt normal enough. Eventually, she asked what I was doing that night. When I told her nothing, she suggested coming over to hang out, against better judgment. I agreed. Short pause. My bedroom was in the basement of my parents' house, with its own separate entrance that made the situation feel manageable. We set a time, and when the moment arrived, she texted me exactly on schedule, saying she was outside. That punctuality felt oddly unsettling, but I ignored it. I let her in through the basement door and led her downstairs. Right away, something felt off. Her responses were short. Her laugh didn't match the conversation. There was a strange emptiness behind her expressions. I stayed polite, but unease settled in quickly. Pause. When we sat on my bed, I asked a simple question. How long the drive had been. She didn't answer. Instead, she laughed. Slowly. Stiffly. Like I had told a joke only she understood. She stared at me the entire time. Eyes wide. Unblinking. It made my skin crawl. I turned on the television, just to fill the silence. Pretended to laugh, along with whatever was playing. She never looked at the screen. She only watched me. Long pause. I knew I wanted her gone. As soon as possible. I made up an excuse. Said I got a text from work, that I needed to sleep early. She clearly didn't want to leave. That made everything worse. Still, I managed to guide her toward the basement door. When she finally stepped outside and left, I stood there, stunned, asking myself what I had just endured. Less than 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed. She asked if I was sure I needed to go to bed. Said she was having fun. Short pause. I didn't reply. I tossed my phone on the bed to charge, and went upstairs to get something to eat. When I came back, there were more messages. Question marks. Then a demanding hello. That was enough. I blocked her. Went to sleep. Relieved it was over. Hours later, I woke up suddenly, like I often do. I reached for my phone too. Checked the time. But it wasn't where I left it. That's when the unease returned. Stronger than before. Pause. I turned on the red LED lights. Just enough to see. My phone was gone. I searched everywhere, growing more anxious by the second. Eventually, I went upstairs, grabbed the landline, and dialed my number. I heard it ringing, not in my room, but in the boiler and laundry area connected to it. When I entered, my phone was sitting on the washing machine, vibrating loudly. I hadn't done laundry. I hadn't been in that room. My hand shook as I picked it up. Long pause. There were new messages. from an unknown number. 2 photos loaded on the screen. Pictures of me, sleeping. Above them were 2 texts. The first said, "Nice job blocking me." The second read, "Lock your door next time." That's when reality hit me. I realized I hadn't locked the basement door. I became aware of the silence, the space around me, the feeling that I wasn't alone. I didn't look behind the boiler. I ran upstairs, woke my parents, and called the police. Long pause tracking her was easy. She left a digital trail. Her name wasn't Annette. It was Sylvana. She was charged with breaking and entering, stalking, harassment. I got a restraining order. Never heard from her again. But the damage was done. That alone made me swear off dating apps. Unfortunately, it wasn't the only story. Another encounter followed. Different app, different name, same sense of false safety. Short pause. Her name was Julia. Blonde, attractive, responsive. Our conversation flowed effortlessly. We moved to Snapchat. I noticed her Snap score was low. Too low? I asked for a selfie. She sent one. Then I asked for a peace sign. She sent that too. Satisfied, I agreed to meet her at her house. Across town. She gave me the address. I checked. Snap map. Everything matched. I got ready, drove over, and arrived. Paused the house, looked abandoned. No cars. Overgrown grass. I messaged her. No response. I rang the bell. Nothing. Knocked harder. Still nothing. I tried calling. No answer. Then an older woman yelled from across the street. Asked what I was doing. She told me no one lived there. The address matched exactly. I left confused, frustrated. Later, my friends recognized the photos. The girl had died years earlier. Long pause. The final story was worse. I matched with a girl named Maria, someone I actually knew from high school. We talked casually. She suggested hanging out, asked if my parents were home. I said no, only my sister. She said she'd let me know when she was on her way. An hour passed. She was active online. When I asked her, she told me she didn't have the dating app at all. Someone had been using her photos. Someone who now had my address. Pause. I locked every door. Stayed alert. Hours passed. I started to relax. That's when my sister screamed. She said someone was outside her window. I checked. No one was there. But I knew. Later, we heard footsteps inside the house. Someone tried the door handle. A deep voice said he knew we were in there. Said he could smell us. Police were on the phone as we hid. The man laughed, then disappeared. Long pause. Police found the entry point through my parents' bedroom window. Whoever it was had fled. Since then, I verify everything. Faces, names, intentions. Because behind a screen, anyone can be anything. And sometimes, the worst. Horrors don't come from strangers in the dark. They come from people who already know where you live.